In this video, I chat to Alexis Raphael about Creche, about his new music, a new album, and deep house in general. Hey, it's Graham from Data Transmission, and today I'm joined by Alexis Raphael in an interview which we did via Zoom. Alexis grew up in London in the 90s, and he was always surrounded by cutting-edge record stores, and then progressed into becoming a professional DJ. He then set up Creche in 2010, which became one of the best, one of the major parties in London around the time, and really spurred that whole deep house sound with labels like Hot Creation. They recently started a brand new party series again. They recently did Ministry of Sound, the Courtyard for the first time in years. So I thought I'd sit down with him and chat about him, and we also talk about Creche, obviously. Enjoy this interview. It was great fun. For the uninitiated, let's chat about the history of Creche, how it started, and the kind of the vibe of the party.
Yeah, Creche started in 2010. It was kind of a time when a lot of the parties in East London, well, it was quite a minimal sound going on, and at the time, just wanted some more music in the music, if that makes sense, more melodies, a bit more vocals, and we wanted a Sunday day party that was also in venues. Everyone was using kind of warehouse spaces, but it was kind of trying to be unique, but everyone was using the same 10 warehouse spaces. So I thought we'd go kind of different and use venues that are already there, that had maybe good bars that you could get a drink quickly, decent toilets, and a different kind of setup to what was going on.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked. People liked it, You weren't in a dirty warehouse. You're in a venue that was set up for that.
Yeah.
Good sound systems guaranteed. And just a nice day experience. And the vibe was, we started off the first party, the flyer said soul, rare groove, disco, funk, everything. Right?
I did it. Wow.
Yeah. 12-hour party, and the idea was to build up to house music.
Yeah.
First few hours, you don't want it banging, like,
no, of course,
when there's no one there. And then there was a barbecue and everything, and it started at Cargo.
That's
before everyone was doing kind of electronic music there, really.
What and I started at Cargo. I didn't realise that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did they have all the garden and stuff then as well?
Yeah, we used the garden. We had at the first party, we had Gorge as a headliner, who's from, is it 8-Bit? I can't even remember.
That's it. Yeah, he is. Didn't he own 8-Bit? Yeah.
I had another night on called Vita Luna the night before, which was a showcase for a label. I'm trying to remember. And he was playing at that, so he came as the special guest headliner. But yeah, Cargo was used for bands and things like that. It was very different, and it had just owners. And there were like 5 parties there, and it went from about 100 friends to pretty much about 800 people. We were really lucky with the weather. We had sun in February, and then March, and then
Fuck.
Yeah. So we had good weather, or it might not have happened. And by the third party, there was about 500 people there. At the time I was a kind of DJing all around London, and we had a big crew of friends in London, and it spread from that really. And then we moved to Brick Lane after that.
Yeah, I remember the times. I remember like you're saying, we had sun in February. I did my Data Transmission 4th birthday around this 2012, and we actually had snow. And it literally snowed at 7:30 p.m. Like literally, as you're thinking about going out, like, oh yeah, all the chatter was good. Like all the chatter was good. And at 7:30 p.m. it absolutely hammered it down with snow, and we got killed because obviously at that time it's like, should we go out? No, it's snowing. Let's not bother. Let's stay in.
Yeah, that's why promoting is gambling. Basically, whatever you do, there's always like a risk something's going to happen that will throw it off course, and it's a real game of highs and lows, because it can just go wrong when the heavens decide to open a load of snow.
Yeah, Like
Yeah.
the whole of Shoreditch for us was literally, we walk out in Shoreditch and it was just absolutely, because we did it at East Village. That was the party before you played for us. The party after.
Yeah, I remember.
And yeah. So you played the one, literally the one after, and
Yeah.
your one was absolutely. I remember it was heaving, and that basically rescued the fact that the one before was on its arse.
Only as good as your last party, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
That's totally true, but
So then you moved to Brick Lane.
yeah, we moved to Brick Lane, and we had some really cool parties there in the garden of the brick house and inside. It was at that point that we started looking at guests that were, we booked Robert James.
Nice.
In that kind of Hot Creations kind of thing, obviously. He had that track Malibu, and we were like the first people I know to book him. And, the idea we had of more musical stuff, that label was really doing that,
Yeah, of course.
So it was one of the artists that interested us. And then we did a series of parties there. I can't remember how many, but they were great. And everyone was dressed up in funny things. It was kind of like what El Row does, but with a lot less people and a bit less sense. But there's videos of people with like diving masks and
shit, cool.
Like so it was like fun, outdoors, and it was always about keeping the music lighthearted, not too serious. And it was a real family vibe at that point. It was, an intimate party, and everyone knew everyone.
That Robert James was sort of blowing up then, wasn't he? It was kind of that hot creche, and then you kind of got the whole creche was literally around that sound, like that whole Hot Creation sound at the time, and it was kind of
tied in. That label was trying to put together more musical stuff at a time when it was coming off the back of minimal and everything, really. And we had the same idea for the party, so it kind of all tied in. So as well as a lot of different artists, we had someone called Erdbert Schnitzel play at the Brick House. We had like Denise Kurtel. We had I'm trying to remember everyone, but we had Lee Foss later at the Queen of Hoxton. So there was a mix of artists. Glimpse played for us.
I remember Glimpse. They were great.
Yeah, I think it was Glimpse and Mayer who played for us. But this is before Mayer had really blown up again. 6 months later, she was on the front cover of Mixmag.
Yeah, of course. Fuck.
So it was this whole sound that was coming through, and it was a great party. It was really good fun. Everyone knew each other. And after Brick House, we moved to the Queen of Hoxton.
And this was around 2010, 2011?
By the time we moved to the Queen of Hoxton, I think it was the winter of 2010 or 2011. It was like one of the two. Yeah, I think the winter of 2011 was when we first did the Queen of Hoxton, and it ran. Sorry, 2010, and it ran through 2011.
And then,
it went to. We did the big one at the Ministry Courtyard with Jamie Jones and Kerry Chandler. Really took it up from still a fairly big party that was getting 1,000 people through the door. So something
was that in 2012? Was that the beginning? That was the beginning.
No, that was actually September or October 2011.
Right. Okay.
The first one. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then, because obviously around that time you had I Know out, and which obviously blew you up as well. Bigger.
Yeah, that all tied in. So that was like 2012. So then 2012 was what I would call the peak of all that, because we had 4 or 5 huge events all sold out at Ministry and outdoors, and then they'd go through to the night and run through till 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So they were long parties. They were like And I had I Know out at the same time, and a few other tracks, and so things were just quite mental. 2012 and 2013. And
was that? Was that then draining on your? Was that draining on? How did that? You kind of get pretty drained after all through that period, or was it kind of just rolling through it with it as the?
I loved it. It was great. It was great fun. The parties were draining because I'd get there at midday and I wouldn't leave till 6, 7 in the morning. That was knackering,
Yeah.
Running those parties, but and I had no one else to I had no assistants or anything like that. So it was all just, it went from this small thing to something really big too quickly. I didn't really know how to manage it properly. After 2012, we carried on with those, and then by 2013, there were a lot of, I'll be honest, not copycat events, but there were a lot of events doing the same kind of lineups, and it had become suddenly really saturated. Top of that, DJ fees had gone through the roof. Mm-hmm. And by the time we did Pulse, I think our lineup, cost about £30,000.
Jesus Christ!
It's become ridiculous. And on top of that, it kind of like got to its peak, and and then what you were saying earlier, it did kind of like drain me from the studio. I couldn't, it's tiring. Even at the moment now, I'm like distracted because of the party. So I made this decision of like, I've got to kind of put the party secondary. I'm a producer, and I want to do that. And so I kind of slowed the party down. We did Ibiza the next year, Gate Crasher.
Yep, I remember it well.
They weren't paying the artists. We had some really great parties with Bodica and people at the beginning. Then they stopped paying people, and we had to pull it.
I remember it well.
Other parties in Ibiza, small ones, which were absolutely amazing. One in St. Raphael that no one's ever done, the little villa. That was just, people still come up to me and say that was a great party. But yeah, we did that. Then we did some small ones in London over the last few years. And we did Butch last year, outdoors in Bow. We did some on Curtain Road. Just little, we took it back to that early stages,
But that was nice.
Yeah, and it got there. It was great. We had like 400 people. Everyone knew each other. Great fun.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then this year, things have gone back.
back to how did that come about, and how did that start, and what was the decision behind it?
In all honesty, last year I did one party in Bow.
Yeah.
It was with Butch, like I said, and I thought, maybe I should do another one this year. I was kind of in discussions with a small venue in Dalston for like 400 people.
Right.
And then I put a picture up on the social media of when it was at its peak. I think one of the events with Art Department and Ministry Courtyard, and suddenly like 400 people have tagged their friends saying, wow, times of my life, miss those days. And I thought, hold on a minute, this is what everyone wants. They don't give a shit about small parties. They want a big rave again. Yeah. And that's it. And then I had discussions with Ministry. It was difficult. I didn't think it was going to be able to happen. It took like a good month of, it was stressful to get it in place. No, this hasn't happened in years. People are worried. Is it going to work? Sound restrictions, all sorts of complications, but managed to do it. And it sold out.
That's good. It's really good. It's really good.
It was a great party. People were having a really good time, and it was amazing to see. And I do see parties now where, I said this today on Twitter, where you get these videos of events and everyone's just standing there staring at the DJ. Like, why is no one partying?
I've seen a few sometimes. I've seen a few. I've actually even been to the venues, and I've been like, is it just sometimes you think, is it the person that's filming it? They're just shit at social media, and they've caught the crowd at the wrong point, and it is just a lull in the music, and they're kind of, is it just that's how the distance from the person filming it to the people actually in the crowd, so that you can't get that reaction, or is it just the crowd? And you kind of, it's a number. I think
things have changed a bit.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at videos from 1990, you'll see everyone's going mental.
Yeah,
and that's what it was about. I think, it was like that when I went out in the mid to late 90s. I think. There's still amazing parties, obviously, and there's still parties where everyone's dancing, but there's a lot where people are just kind of there. The DJ is such a focus now, even more than it's ever been, that people are forgetting to enjoy themselves and dance. That's what it's actually about. They're kind of just like in awe of the DJ.
Yeah, I get that. Like,
definitely an element of that.
Like me and my mates went to Rasmus House, and we were so into the dancing and getting stuck in the middle that I went to my mate, this DJ, look, he hasn't changed in a while. And my mate went, mate, that's the lighting, man. The DJ's behind us. And we went to the room and went, oh yeah, it's that massive like lighting show and everything. Like, and we're like, oh, oh, we haven't noticed. Oh well, we've just been getting stuck in, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being at raves where there was so many lasers and so much smoke that I couldn't even see where the DJ was. Literally, I remember once being at the Stratford Rex years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I didn't even know which way. Where's the DJ? Is he over there?
I saw the Prodigy there in the Fat of the Land tour.
Did you?
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool.
Good energy, yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Like the finishing on Fuel My Fire, and it just meant people jumping up and down and people hanging off the walls, and because it was like in the 97, 96, 97.
Yeah, when I started going out.
Incredible, yeah.
There was a different energy back then, definitely. Like, I don't want to bang on about the old days, but there was. I mean, first of all, I think there was a lot less alcohol, whether you like it or not. Everyone was on the same kind of vibe, buzz.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not, it put everyone on the same thing. And now it's a lot more disjointed, I think. Having said that, there are things nowadays that are a lot better. You know, there was a time in what you call the London scene where it would be the same 20, 30 records by every DJ. Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much more music and there's so much more depth to it now because it's more than just about going out and dancing. It was literally just go out and dance back then. Now I think it's more about the depth of the music and the artists and all that.
Yeah, I agree. There's more. I think the thing about London, I think now is that you've got a lot of the parties that are literally because the prices are so high and because it's so hard to book headliners that there's so many good parties that just built around residents.
Yeah.
That in smaller venues that you go to those and they're a much better party.
Yeah, definitely.
And you get a better, you just get more interesting, loads of interesting DJs playing. It's really cool.
Well, the thing with coming back of Creche, what I wanted to focus on was because back then it just became about these headliners. And like, really, for me, the party should be about the party, what you're saying. So I've tried not to focus it on just headliners. Obviously, we have to book DJs because that's what people want to see. But I'm trying to make it about the party, you know. We have the music policy is fresh music, but, you know, I would say there's no tech house, if you want to call it that there. It's more house music, disco, electro, techno, and stuff with more melodies and funk and a bit more sex in music, basically.
Nice.
Plus a little bit of that classic deep house, which is what everyone wanted, 2010 to 2013. Now, we don't want to be that retro party that's just the same classics. You know?
Of course.
So I'm very wary of that, but we've got a bit of it, and which is cool, you know.
Yeah, I see you've been doing I see you've been doing the 2010 to 2012 classic set. I saw that and I was like, mate, I want to go and listen to that. That sounds wicked.
Yeah. Well, you know what? No one's done it. And
I know.
You get eras from you get classic sets from you know because I go back to the rave era. So you've got like parties like Rain Dance.
Yeah.
That have is run by they define that early hardcore period. You've got periods for jungle, for garage, for all these things, and really there's nothing referencing back to that deep house era. And it's been a few years now, and it always takes a few years, but it was definitely a golden period for house music. There was a lot of big records. It made a lot of artists.
Yeah, for sure.
And I thought, let's throw it in. But I'm very wary about it becoming. It's not a deep house party.
Yeah,
it's current music, but we'll put some of that music in there, so there's a nice mix, you know.
Yeah, that's nice, man. I know what you're saying. Like, I was thinking the other day about jungle. It's like for the last probably 20 years, jungle has just been it's just classics, but it's cool. It has a whole. It's genre, like because everyone's playing all the records from from the beginning, and you go to them and you hear all the same records. Be like, I love them all still, but since now, obviously,
there is a lot of new music.
Yeah.
There is a lot of new stuff coming out that's got big dubby bass lines. I do follow it a little bit. There is new stuff, but that era again was so huge that
that era kind of like it literally made Hot Creations for starters. It literally made a few other labels. A few other labels did really well in it, and then sort of didn't do well in the after period. So yeah,
well, it kind of evolved into tech house.
It did. You're right.
It evolved into tech house. Yeah. And for me personally, it's not so much for me that sound. It's not. I'm more about melodies and a bit of funk music. And
did you when you started looking for those records for that set? Did you kind of have to go really digging and kind of find, but also find records that you hadn't heard for a long period that you just completely forgot about?
Well, when I did the first of those, I've only done that one classic set, I think. Yeah, but that was at the first Creche, and It was pretty easy, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the truth. Because I know that period so well, and I was right in the thick of it. And it wasn't like, there was only a couple of tunes that I won't name that were huge that I wouldn't play because they're too overplayed, and there's a couple that I don't like. Apart from that, it was a lot of big tunes that people haven't heard in a few years, so it didn't really matter if I played them.
Yeah, exactly.
I did dig some like more obscure, amazing records that I love. So it was a real mix, but I really enjoyed it. It was great fun, and I think everyone enjoyed it. It was great atmosphere in there.
How was so obviously have you had to change your promoting style for for this return? I guess you kind of were you on the cusp of social media happening when the first ones were happening, or did it happen afterwards?
You know what? My memory is terrible, but I think like we had a Facebook page we handed out flyers for the first few parties.
Right.
We were handing out flyers around Shoreditch, and things were always on Resident Advisor.
Yeah.
Facebook page, I think, started a bit later on.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the parties were selling themselves through word of mouth and stuff. We never did that much, to be quite honest with you. Now, we need to push it more. There's Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I've got people helping me, but I struggle with it. I really struggle with it.
That's the next thing I was going to ask. Do you now have a team? Because obviously you're saying that you want to focus on you, the artist. Do you now have a team that kind of helps you do the programming and the party and making sure it runs?
Yeah, one of the problems before where I fell back was that I didn't really have I wasn't very good at delegating roles.
Right.
And you need to do that. So now, I've got Clint, who's helping me. He's like my right-hand man with everything. And we're bringing in an intern, and we've got a couple of other people that work on other things. So there is a little group here, and I'm trying to slowly get it right so that we can improve things, because it's really difficult for me to do it all, basically.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I feel that.
and focus on studio and stuff. It's really distracting.
And then I guess let's just kind of talk about you and what you've been up to. You had that record that I really loved last year, Purple Talk. Purple Talk? Hang on a minute. Let me just dig in. Hang on.
Didn't love it that much, so forgot the name.
Do you know what? I do. I love it. I've played
the name as well.
I've actually played it every.
Jackets.
Purple, that's it. There you go. Sorry, I love that record. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, you get my tunes. I think we come from a similar kind of background, don't we, musically?
Yeah.
Well, I really like that record. My girlfriend loves that record, but it didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah, really?
Really, no. I like that. A lot of the ones I do, I don't like, people like. And the ones I like, no one seems to like them. But I like that. It's cool.
What label did that come out on? It was okay.
Sydney, Charles and Santos label.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I love that record. I have a kind of a folder of stuff that I've just I'm playing constantly. Like if I ever play out, or stuff that I'm listening to, and that's always in there.
Yeah, wicked. I was with Kenny Glasgow the other day. We were flying to a gig in Portugal, and he was like, "I keep playing this track in my sets," and I was like, "What one?" And it's a track called Exclusive, and I was like, "Right, okay." I've never even played it. I don't think I've even played Purple Jacket. No, I have played Purple Jackets. Yeah. At the moment, so I had that and a few other bits last year. I did a return to Hot Creations with a track called It's Kind of Jazzy. That was last year.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, which actually samples a big jungle record.
Nice.
And a hip hop record. Basically, I've been totally open and honest. I just kind of like hit a bit of a wall musically with what I would call the UK scene.
Yeah.
I wasn't really enjoying going through digital promos. I just found it just wasn't for me, 99% of it, and I don't enjoy the process. So last September, so almost a year ago now, my girlfriend was like, "Look, why don't you just go back to buying records?"
Right.
I said, "You know what? That's what I'm going to do." So I just stopped digital music. I started going record shopping again, and I found So I've just enjoyed the process, because with records, there's a bit of a quality, well, there is a quality filter
Yeah, of
control.
course.
No, you're not going to press a record if it's if you don't believe in it. It costs money.
Yeah.
So I've gone back to buying vinyl, and I've first of all, I'm so much happier, and secondly, I'm finding so much better music, and that's just inspired me to make different music, and just been working on an album.
Nice.
It didn't start as an album. It started as just making whatever, and then I just thought, hold on a minute, here's a kind of album.
Yeah.
I think. so I've got like about 7 tracks a mix now, and
Nice.
I'm just working on. Yeah, it's going to be about 10 tracks and 2 bonus tracks which have my vocals on them, which
Wow. Okay.
is a bit different. It's kind of like electronica, house, garage influenced house, mad experimental techno. It's a bit of everything. It's a real journey.
Are you gonna ship that out, or are you gonna kind of release it yourself, or?
I don't have a clue. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just getting it ready, and when it's ready, I think I'll know what to do with it. But I'm going away in October for 6 months.
Nice.
So when I come back, that's hopefully next year it's going to be released. I'm just trying to finish it before I go away.
And then, kind of, what's going to happen if you're going away that long period? What are you going to do with Creche? Is it going to have something in the summer and then next one at winter, or?
Creche is going to be on pause. I decided it's just, first of all, for my own sanity, running events all year. I don't think I can handle it.
Right.
Second, I think I've decided it is a daytime party. You know, we did nighttime parties. We did that one at in Hackney Wick. We've done nighttime, but primarily it's a daytime party. And trying to run daytime parties in the winter is hard work.
Yeah.
But you know, what do? You go on a Sunday in December into a basement somewhere. You know, it worked in 2012. Sometimes they were busier than others, but to do that now is just too difficult. So let's keep it to the summer. So I'm going to pull it back. We've got a final party on August 26th.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Miguel Campbell's joining me, Waifs and Strays. So a little nod to the past.
Yeah, of course.
We'll be playing, and my residents, which are great, who are really, really great residents.
Who are they?
We've got Clinton Hooker.
Yep.
Who's released on Nervous and stuff like that. We've got Tim Ross and Mr. Shiver, who you know.
Yeah, of course.
We've got a girl who's great called Miss Songbird, Tess.
Yes, that Songbird.
Yeah, sorry, that Songbird. She's one of my new residents.
Right. I really like her.
Yeah, she's great. I've got a guy from Cyprus who's German called Marcus Eden, who came over for the last party at the Prince of Wales. We did the roof.
Yeah.
So I've got them, and I've got who else is there? Yeah, I think that's it for the residents. That's enough. So they get rotated. They're all really good DJs. They're all versatile. They can do warm-ups. They can do like peak time, and that's what you want from the residents.
And are you all playing vinyl, or you? I mean, or is it kind of just you? That's just your choice.
Yeah, that's my choice. I mean, I think Tim and Mr. Shiver, they play a mix. Having said about the vinyl at Creche, I didn't play vinyl because that 2010 to 2012 stuff, I don't have it in vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah. I think why it was really easy.
Yeah, it's just stick it or go into a crate and find it all. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
So pull it back.
And then I guess kind of what's the plans for the future Creche, and you're having your break, and then are you going to again next year? You're going to just do summer again next year?
Yeah, going to do summer again next year. Got to look at it and work out what to do. Maybe there's a case to do one winter Boxing Day rave, something like that. I always love going out on Boxing Day. It's one of my favorite.
I did. We used to do misdemeanors at Terminals, and it was always a laugh. Misdemeanors with Lottie and all those guys playing. Yeah, on Boxing Day, that was always fun.
Good, isn't it? After a day with your family, you know, Boxing Day's kind of like, right, I'm itching to go out. And it's always great fun. So I like putting on Boxing Day. So we might do 2 in the summer and 1 on Boxing Day next year. But that's the idea. I'm off for 6 months just because I need to want to do some other things. So I'm going travelling.
Right.
And I'm going to record sounds while I'm travelling for another album. Yeah. So
that'll be for this album, for another one after that.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And then, so are you more into that album format? Because a load of people obviously are going more singular route. And do you still love that album?
I think that I've been making music for a while now, and it's probably time I did something like that. What it is with me, there's this constant pressure to have to release this to stay up there. I'm kind of like, whatever. I don't like that. I just want to like do it because I enjoy it. So I'm just going to make the music as I feel fit. And, you know, people dig it, they dig it. If they don't, they don't. It doesn't really bother me. So I think what I've got now is an album. I'm going to put it out. People like it, great. I hope they do. But I'm not really into just constantly having to output music for the sake of staying relevant, because I think that's the problem with everything now. People just release to release, and it makes it full of crap music, to be quite honest.
They kind of the release. You have to release a schedule of releases, kind of, because then you book all your gigs around that schedule of releases, and it kind of one feeds the other, and it does seem a little silly.
I don't want to play that system. I think music's creative, and I think the music should be like music should have lastability. It's too much throwaway stuff. You know, a record should be able to be listened to 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And it should all have something about it, you know? It's not like that, a lot of it. So I want to try and focus on that. And I think doing an album would be great, and then following up with another one would be something enjoyable to do.
Do you,
they don't do enough. That's why they don't want to do them. But it's, you know, I'm not really doing it just to do stuff. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. And
the thing I think with an album though is you can actually get quite creative. If you've got a body of work like that, you can actually get creative with it and release it. You know, a track a day for 10 days, and it kind of creates a load of buzz on through Spotify or whatever, and then hit all those playlists, and it kind of you'll have loads of tracks out there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to look into that. I'm not that clued up in how I'm going to do it yet, but I'll get it finished. I mean, it might even be something I'll just give away. I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. So.
Yeah, so it's getting more now that kind of that whole streaming and Spotify. There seems to be more and more creative ways. Like I think I see Friend Within released an album, and it was just he released it as a playlist.
Right. Okay.
And which was like it was like 25 tracks of just one playlist, and just go and listen to it basically.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Which is really cool. You know, it's simple. It's just go and listen to my music, and if you like it, you like it. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. I like that. That might be what I do.
And then I guess that's kind of Where are you going travelling?
Flying to India, and I'm going to travel all the way east through India, through to like Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Japan, and just you know, I've been doing this electronic music thing since I was 11, literally. Submerged in it. Yeah.
How old are you now?
37.
Wow, you're a couple of years older than me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I bought my decks in '94.
Right.
It's all I've ever done. I love it to bits, but there is a whole world out there, and so you know, I'm really up for just taking some time out, and I think it will also help creativity, because you know,
of course,
just me being in this thing, it's nice to step back from it sometimes, you know.
Are you going to be doing gigs there? Is it kind of booked? Is it booked around gigs, or is it kind of just you're just going away?
Nothing. I'm not. I'm going to have a total break from it all.
Nice.
I'm just going to take a backpack and leave DJ world for a bit, and record music and record sounds and just have some time out, and then come back, release this album, do Creche, and start on new music. That's the idea.
Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, well, that's nice. Wicked. Great, mate. Yeah. Okay, well, that's cool. Let's start.
6 o'clock in the morning and we're still jumping and bumping. 6 o'clock in the morning and we're still jumping. 6 o'clock in the morning and we're still jumping and bumping. 6 o'clock in the morning and we're still jumping.